Greetings and welcome to the core module of our time together, Business Modeling as a Strategy. You have been in business for a period of time now. Before you engaged in it, you took a decision as to what it was you wanted to be known for. And by now, you have information that tells you from the marketplace what you are known for. You also have gone into a process where you're saying to yourself, why should people be doing business with you? Why should your current customers be engaging in business with you? What we're wanting to be able to venture into now in this core module is how. Business modeling is a way that helps us to be able to plan for a successful operation of our business, to be able to identify the sources of revenue, our target customer base, the kind of products and services we want to be able to offer, and indeed, we want to be able to make sure that we have clarity on the details of how we'll finance our business. It becomes important, therefore, that we understand how our business is going to be able to create value for itself while delivering superb products and services for our customers. Go with me on this journey as we go through the business modeling as a strategy and indeed also as a tool to advance your business going forward. As entrepreneurs in the 21st century, we are spoiled for choice for business models we can select from at the point where we are starting a new business or growing an existing business into a colossal empire. When you go through to libraries, bookstores, internet websites, you will find volumes upon volumes of business models that have been utilized over the centuries, particularly in the last century and the current century. With this in mind, we are going to have to be able to select one that is going to be functional for us in this module. We're going to be able to draw some insights from the work that has been contributed in the collaborative efforts of PhD in Management Information Systems, Dr. Alex Osterwalder, together with PhD in Information Systems, Professor Yves Pigneur. In their book that they produced called Business Model Generation, a collaborative effort, they help us to be able to appreciate the business model canvas. Following hereafter then will be a discussion on the business model thinking. We'll just introduce that. We'll then go to the 9 building blocks that make up the business model canvas. We'll have a discussion on the business model canvas itself, BMC, and then we'll venture into the business model design process. Having done that, we want to be able to look into our value proposition. A value proposition canvas will be the tool we will need to be able to utilize to determine exactly how we are going to be the preferred value provider to our customer. 2 case studies are provided for you to be able to work with, a case study from Skype and a case study from Southwest Airlines. As we close the discussion in this particular module, we will venture into the 9 destructive business models. These have been used quite extensively over the last decade, but more in steroids last year and this year. We have these presented through to us, and we are going to see which ones are trending and how we can utilize the same for ourselves as we build our business to become a sustainable, resilient, and invincible enterprise. We will use as a functional description business modeling as a rationale for how your organization will create, deliver, and capture value for the customer and, of course, for yourself because after all, your brand is something you care about, and the quality behind the product or service you render is something you will guard jealously. Taking forward the trio of create, deliver, and capture value, co-founder of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company, Horst Schutze, in his writing of Excellence Wins, identifies that there are three main things that people we serve look for from a business. First, they want a product or a service or an output that is without defect. So, in the design of your product, you want to be sure it is defect-free. Second, they want it to be delivered in a timely manner. Thirdly, they want the person with whom they are dealing to be nice to them. See what would happen in a restaurant environment. You are the provider of food. If you add in your menu a special dish that is well liked by customers, it's delivered in a clean environment, people have an opportunity to interplay and enjoy themselves with it, guess what it delivers to you? It allows you to capture huge value, and you get the applause as more and more money flows in your direction. Listed amongst your wishes from this program was, as entrepreneurs, if you could be able to get some ideas on how you could be able to navigate this pandemic-riddled economic environment. We've looked into what it is that successful entrepreneurs do. We already have spoken in the previous slide about your looking into exploring and exploiting. Exploring new avenues, which is what the Blue Ocean Strategy presents through to you. Exploiting existing terrains, which is almost like what happens in a mining environment. Successful entrepreneurs do not focus on product innovation alone. They exploit and look into what other solutions are needed in the marketplace. They do not copy existing business models because they know that as they do the copying, someone else is doing the same thing. So there is a need for innovative approaches to business on an ongoing basis. Successful entrepreneurs are willing to take risks and experiment with their businesses. And this is where diversification comes through and becomes very handy. Co-author of the Business Model Generation book, Agripreneurs, speaks to the fact that while product innovation and process innovation are important aspects of entrepreneurship, having the right business model more often than not would make the difference between success and failure. Therefore, fully understanding your business model is what will help you to navigate the difficult business environment you are operating within. Co-author with A.J. Leffley of Playing to Win, a strategy book, Dean of Rotman School of Management, Roger Martin, points out that business people do not just need to understand designers better. They themselves need to become better designers. Therefore, having an effective business model design is a core function of every entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you have an appreciation that business is risky. Conducting business and setting up new ideas takes guts. You have continued in business because you've weighed up the potential returns you can extract from participating in this particular industry that you are in already. We're going to be able to use the business model portfolio maps that Doctors Eve and Alex share with us from Strategizer. We're looking to explore and exploit. Explore comes handy when you think back to the 4-action framework of the Blue Ocean strategy model. There are 4 specific areas to look into: ideation, discovery, validation, and confirmation. Ideation looks into new ideas for value proposition and business models around a market opportunity, technology, products, or services that can be presented into the marketplace. Discovery is about providing the first evidence of desirability and viability, information about the market and your potential customers by testing your new ideas out in the marketplace, and then determining, is there something here? Validation is confirmation of the desirability and viability with strong evidence and with first evidence of feasibility, determining whether you can build a good product, provide a service, and exploit what's available to you. Finally, confirmation. This is where you proceed with your business idea or you pivot, investing in customer acquisition costs, marketing, and more robust minimum viable products. You determine, can we do this at scale? You are in a position to determine that in the space of exploring. Exploiting, on the other hand, has 6 key areas for consideration: transfer or launch, launching of a compelling value proposition or business model that is customer focused, sustaining innovation, where you have a product or service that has been developed to address an unmet customer requirement, and as a company, you look into how you can scale up to meet the demands in the marketplace. Efficiency looks into generating additional profitability by focusing on reducing costs, increasing productivity, or redesigning a product or service, which is really what the shareholders are looking at. It's a shareholder focus. When you've got a mature business and it's well established, you may very well have loyal customer base. What you then do is to be able to look into how you can be competitive in the same field and stabilize your growth. When the business is declining, you may want to be able to look into what is causing the decline. The decline may be characterized by profitability going down, becoming obsolete, or you could find that you've got reduced customer base and it may no longer make sense for you to continue producing a product because the market is not really finding value in it anymore. The final area of exploiting is renovation. Before the business dies, you can shift your company model and focus on a new product, on a new service, or a business model that helps you to survive or grow. As we seek to develop new or document existing business models, it is useful to be able to review the 9 building blocks of the business model canvas. We think it is necessary, even though you can start from anywhere and go to the next until you've completed all 9, it is useful to be able to pay attention to what's happening in the customer space. Remember, in the organizational effectiveness, we started off by asking what our stakeholders' needs, what are our customers' needs. Therefore, we need to be able to ask, what are the key customer segments we are addressing? What is our value proposition as the second block? The third block starts looking into what are the key channels we are going to use to deliver the value that we're promising to the customer. And then, fourthly, we look for ways of maintaining and building strong relationships with our customers. And then we wrap up that section by going into understanding the revenue streams that are available to us. Some may be very good and others may be kind of at a survival space. We then flip over and go through to the infrastructure side. The infrastructure side starts off by looking into what are the key resources we need to have in place to deliver value to the customer. Then, what are the activities we need to be sharp at to execute well? Having got that in place, we can then start looking outside to who are the key partners we should be able to have a solid relationship with in order to deliver exceptional quality to our customer. Having finalized that takes us to number 9, which is about the cost structure. In that way, we've covered all 9 because we're saying to ourselves, to deliver value, you will need to be able to incur costs. Finish off everything having understood all that's at play to determine how much revenue you're going to be able to generate at what cost. When you think about the business model canvas, you get to appreciate 2 things. It is a visual representation of the various business model elements. 9 of them we've already spoken to. But it also allows you as a practitioner or as an entrepreneur to see the relationships among the various parts of the model. It allows you to identify the hypotheses, the assumptions, and the risks associated with doing business. It enables you to plan validation testing. You go to the market, you check the channels, and you look into your pricing. It allows you to explore ways of adding value and or reducing cost. Finally, it allows you the opportunity to brainstorm some market disruption strategies. There are at least 14 clear applications of the business model canvas. First, the canvas could be used to better understand our customers. Second, it could be used to understand the competition. What are they responding to that we may not be responding to very, very well? The canvas affords us the opportunity to have a template for generating new ideas. It can be used for innovation specifically. It can be used, fifthly, for strategizing. Sixth, it can be used for the diffusion and co-creation of strategy. What we've also come to appreciate is that the business model canvas plays a significant role in helping to create alignment throughout the organization as we look into the value creation side versus the infrastructure side of the business. Furthermore, we may use the business model canvas for ensuring that there is shared language across all functions of the organization. The business model also allows for the alignment of the value side of the canvas, which deals with revenue, to the infrastructure side of the same canvas, which has to do with costs. It can also be used as a dashboard that we constantly look at to see how we're progressing as an organization. We can utilize the canvas for making decisions around investing. Also, it could be utilized for ensuring that we have appropriate mergers and acquisitions. We want to be able to look into who we can partner with, knowing that they are aligned to what we are seeking to achieve as a business. But what we also can find is that the business model canvas allows us to look into a whole portfolio of business models and see which one will work best for the objectives we've set for ourselves. Finally, we may want to be able to look into the business model canvas for determining our exit strategy when we realize that we've achieved what we had set out to do, or we're no longer getting what we had intended to achieve by being in business in this environment altogether. Engaging with the value proposition canvas affords us the opportunity to be able to respond to two critical questions. Are we creating value for our customer? And in the process, are we creating value for our business? From the business model canvas, we get to have an explicit appreciation of how we are creating and capturing value for our business, while on the value proposition canvas, we get to be able to be clear as to whether we are creating value for our customer. So, from the business model canvas, we zoom in to the detailed picture to investigate if our customer value proposition in the business model really creates value for our customer. We then also get to be able to zoom out to the big picture to analyze if we are profitably, as a business, creating, delivering, and capturing value around this particular customer's value proposition, which we presented, and the customer said, we want to do business with you. Research by Simon Kucher and Partners in 2014 found that 72% of new products and service innovations fail to deliver on expectations. So when you look into our customers and our customer profiles and match that to the value we have promised, when there is a fit between the two, success can be recorded. But this is not guaranteed. The iteration on the value map and the customer profile is vital for ensuring sustainable success for your business. There will be benefits in appointing a value proposition designer in your organization. This may very well be yourself, but as you grow your business, you'd want to give that responsibility to someone who will constantly be looking into whether there is a best fit between our value proposition and the meeting of the customer needs. In order to remain top of mind with our customers, we need to be meeting and exceeding customer expectations. When we go back to the business model canvas, we can see where this finds itself. We are addressing the customer segment and the value proposition. So the value proposition designer plays in just two areas: the customer segments and the value proposition. As we continue to operate in a tech-enabled environment, It may be useful to draw some insights from a blog by Ken Lohento and Hammond Tuso, which was published in November of 2018. I have referred you to it. You will be able to go into a little bit more detail around that. They make recommendations of at least 6 business models for the African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries, digital agribusiness entrepreneurs. You are in Africa, and therefore this may very well be something you would want to consider as well. First, they say target agricultural institutions as primary customers for you to have higher and sustainable revenues. You may want to explore that part. Second, they suggest that you offer bundled and multi-sided services. This may not have been the initial thought you had around getting more traffic in your direction, but this may also be something that breathes new life into your business as well. They suggest that you diversify while remaining focused on your primary business that you had set up to fulfill in the first place. When you're bundling services with your partners, it does not mean that you have to be able to go with the other people's approaches. You would want to be able to bundle in such a manner that it helps you to introduce new customers and also retain existing customers who would want more from your basket. Fourthly, they suggest that we properly segment our customers and services. So when you go back into the business model canvas, you will notice the importance of customers and services that are rendered. They suggest, fifthly, that we identify the optimal target market size, because sometimes we could be biting more than we are able to chew. Think through that and say, is this the target market size I am going to be able to service very, very well? And finally, they suggest that we need to be able to look for ways in which we could be able to collaborate with public and developmental institutions in order to be able to acquire and sustain our customers. This may very well be something you may want to consider as you are working your own business model before we give you examples of other processes that are already in the marketplace. May I invite you to look into the Skype business model, going through to 3 building blocks out of the 9: customer segment, revenue streams, and value proposition. You'll come to appreciate that for Skype, their customer segments are web users globally. In terms of income stream, they looked into it and said, in order to be able to have more customers using the platform, they would make it available free of charge. That then became the value proposition, where they afford free internet and video calling. With the growth in virtual calls, as we have been engaging with the advent of COVID-19, you will then appreciate that the customer segment of people who want to make calls, audio calls, video calls, are looking for ways in which they can get this thing free. Skype then responds by providing for their revenue streams a prepaid Skype out and a subscription Skype out. This option makes it possible, therefore, to deliver on the value proposition of cheap calls to the phone utilizing Skype out. In the student roadmap, we invited you to look into the business model canvas of a discount airline. Here you have a case study of Southwest Airlines. They've applied the 9 building blocks business model canvas and in the process helped any viewer and any student to understand the application of the 9 building blocks. As you work through this, we will be able to appreciate how since 1971, Southwest Airlines has remained profitable, even in the aftermath of 9/11/2001. COVID-19 has caused a slowdown, but that in itself has not meant that Southwest Airlines has ceased to be profitable. The 9 building blocks model canvas is well documented and well demonstrated in this case study. I invite you to engage with it. As we come to the close of our time together, let's reflect on some of the key business models that have been trending 2020 to 2021. And of course, we want to get into 2022 feeling strong and in charge of our circumstances. Silicon Valley has got a mantra that says disrupt or be disrupted. With that in mind, you may want to be able to consider one or a combination of the 9 that are provided by Benjamin Talon, who shared this in February of 2021. The first model that gets to be used is that of freemium. Essentially, what that is, a freemium gives you the basic offering of the product that you are consuming. If you're using Spotify or you're using Apple Music, you probably have experienced this. What obviously happens is that there is a way of trying to be able to switch you from the free and basic to the premium version, as it were. You also will be able to notice that similar applies even with multi-choice in our country. Subscription model is what is utilized quite extensively for those who are wanting to be able to pull the customers, maintain them as often as possible in the media, whether it's print media or electronic media. Subscriptions are extremely critical. We have a business review. We subscribe to that and it comes through to us and we utilize the stories that flow from there. There are various approaches that may be there around subscription, but most central to it is that each subscriber gets to be able to have exclusive information that is coming through in that particular publication. Mostly gets to be exclusive. You also will find that there are free offerings altogether. These are kind of packages and bundles that are given out to customers out there. The idea around that is just to ensure that we can hook the customer out of their having gotten used to that which is coming as a package of goodies. The marketplace offers to us a variety of opportunities to shop from. It's pretty much a cafeteria model. So if you look into that, you have a whole suite of products and services, and you afford the customer to pick and choose, and in the process, they end up hooked into being your customer. The sharing economy and access over ownership is what is becoming all the more relevant. Likely, when you start thinking about how many of us have got cars that have been parked throughout for most of 2020 and early parts of 2021, we're beginning to move now because of the lowering down of the lockdown restrictions. But in that space, e-hailing has become the common way of doing things. But also, when you look into renting of space, most often people are beginning to think about, do I need to own this or can I rent it for a period of time because of the career mobility that people face as it were, and they exploit in any case. Then you've got the user experience premium. This is pretty much like the on-demand setup. But when the user experience premium is adopted, it affords those who are in it to feel that they have something that is exclusive, no one else is able to attain it. You may want to be able to use this when you are, for instance, supplying organic products. The pricing of an organic product is different to that which is available for the mass market. The pyramid system is one that is often referred to because of the way in which it is clubbing together a whole lot of people to be able to get maximum value out of collaboration or being a cooperative. The ecosystem is what you will find in environments such as Apple, and you're also beginning to find that in the Android systems. The Apple space is one where we're able to, with the utilization of a MacBook, you can transfer the information. You start with it on an iPhone, and then you can continue in an iPad and go into your MacBook, and then you go into whatever devices that may be there. So the continuation is what helps you to be able to lock the customers, as it were, so they know they've got the flexibility of moving within the various tools that are available to you. You may find, for instance, in the sporting world that more and more people are using wearables, and these wearables guide us to be able to tell us what's happening in terms of our heart rate, the ECGs, and all of those. And in the process of doing that, you are almost tempted to buy the next product. So the ecosystem is really something that with the 4IR and the Internet of Things is going to be rising. The final one is the on-demand. On-demand becomes a critical business model because it affords us to not just have to have everything. Netflix is one example of an on-demand situation where you are going to be able to download onto your own device the movie that you wanted to be able to use and watch it as and when, offline, online, and all of those. And with on-demand, you have a way of creating hunger for the customer. And you want the customer to want more. So you end up with a series. So you have a series, season 1, season 2, season 3. On-demand itself affords you as the producer an opportunity to be able to have a customer for life. Obviously, it means that producers inside the organization have to be doing a lot more so as to maintain the interest of the customer. As we come to a close, I'd like for you to reflect on the fact that we have covered in this particular segment these key areas. We introduced business model thinking. We introduced the 9 building blocks of the business model canvas. The business model canvas itself was discussed with you. The business model design process was followed by a discussion on the value proposition canvas. 2 case studies of the business model canvas were also shared with you. We wrapped up the discussion by going through what Benjamin Tallinn shares with us of the disruptive business models that are trending in 2021. Let me pull this discussion to a close by quoting Ralph Waldo Emerson. He defines success in this manner. He says, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I want to believe that our contribution through this module helps you to be able to ensure one life breathes easier because you've lived. You will go through and review what your business is for and appreciate that society, customers, and your team are key stakeholders in ensuring that your business delivers value to all of them. But it is going to be also important that you take good care of yourself as an entrepreneur, as a person with a variety of roles you fulfill in society, at home, in your own household, in the community around you. I wish you great success. May 2021 be your best year yet. Go well, succeed in everything you do. God bless.